Hi, and welcome to another episode of Chamber Chat. I'm Danielle McFadden, president of the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce, and this Inside Lowell podcast is coming to you from the Wellpoint Studios. Wellpoint, the only health plan offering healthcare benefits exclusively to Massachusetts GIC members. At Wellpoint, your whole health is their whole point. I am so excited to welcome our guest today. We have Gerry Nutter, the business student specialist at the MassHire Greater Lowell Workforce Board, and Dianne McCarthy, college and career counselor at Lowell High School, where I went to school.
So did I, but decades later.
I mean, we don't have to get into the, well, you're from the best class ever,
That's right.
1980.
Just ask us, we'll tell you.
Yes, the class of 1980 parades around the city and talks about how they are the greatest class ever.
Oh,
Yeah, we're humble about it.
self-appointed?
They're very humble.
Oh, yeah,
What?
Self-appointed?
Yeah,
absolutely,
self-appointed.
Sure.
I mean,
But when you get, Steve Gendron and Jay McKenna and Brian Chapman and Trish Neary, among many others.
yes, yeah. You're gonna forget somebody now. You're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, I'm always in trouble. That's okay.
But enough about that.
Okay.
Let's talk about connecting activities. Can you give kind of like a lowdown on what that program is, and
Yeah,
then
so
we'll get into kind of.
Connecting Activities is through the Mass Workforce Board, which you are very familiar with
I
because
sure am.
Danielle's on our board. And it's a program run through the Mass Department of Education and Secondary Education, DESE, as we all shorten it up. We work with Liz Bennett, Joe Wyman, and some other people to work with students and work with schools in the Greater Lowell area. Work with students one-on-one, see if we can get them jobs, work with businesses, and that's why we're doing the Chamber Chat, because we
Yes.
need businesses to really help support, finding these students either internships, which Dianne will talk about. She has an internship program that she does. We do job fairs, we do STEM fairs. I heard you mention on a previous podcast talking about the CEO Roundtable that
Oh, that was
you
awesome.
co-sponsored with us. So we do a lot of things like that, and we're in all of the, as many as we can in the Greater Lowell area. We're in Lowell, Dracut, Tewksbury, Tingsboro, Chelmsford. I think I get them all. We're actually in Westfield, not Westfield, Westfield.
I was like, oh my God.
Westfield.
Yeah.
And Neshoba.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
And
you
the Greater Lowell
mentioned.
Tech. Greater Lowell Tech and the charter school, two of the three charter schools here in the city.
Excellent. And I'm glad that you mentioned, you talked about internships, but you also said a CEO roundtable. Like, I want businesses that are listening to not kind of zone out at, like, I need to get to offer an internship. That's awesome if you can do that. But there are these kind of one-offs, couple hours that you can really make an impact for these students as
we bring
well.
them in, we do speaker series where we just bring them in for, a class even. And
Yeah.
They talk to a class of 20, 25 kids, or we do a larger thing like that. Also, we're looking for, job shadow days. Just give the kids an opportunity to spend a day in the field of what they're interested in.
And you'll never do something like that and look back and say, oh, that was like a waste of,
Never.
like, the businesses absolutely love connecting with the students.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be corporate America, and I used to love having students come visit me at my business and learn what we do and see all the opportunities that are out there, because high school students don't know.
Absolutely.
So to expose them is an amazing thing.
And we work, besides the one-on-ones, it's not just about finding them jobs. It's about making them feel comfortable filling out an online application, a paper application, giving them some interviewing skills, giving them some ideas on what to do and what not to do in the work environment. And the group we work with in DESE is also expanding and really trying to push this MyCap program, which is my career at my college in academic. And
Yeah.
so we're going down into the middle schools. We did worked with the 8th graders at the Butler, the Robinson, the Stocklosas this year, hoping to
Excellent.
expand that in other communities next year.
That's so great.
Yeah, there's a lot out there that with students, they need to start learning in 6th grade. 5th and 6th grade, what's available out
Yeah,
there, what they might
yeah.
want to do. Because oftentimes when they get to junior year in high school, they're like, I don't know what to do.
It's so hard.
it
I mean,
is
it's
hard.
great that they're getting this exposure, because I mean, I feel like when I was a kid, you'd go to college and be like, I don't even know what to major, and I had Jen Carey, and that's so I went to psychology. She was so
Yeah,
awesome. So I have 2 psych
She's
degrees,
still great.
and
She's
now
still
I'm running a
awesome.
chamber. But it's so great that now you have that exposure
Yeah.
as a student.
Yeah, and it's, here in Lowell, we deal with so many different type students, and so many nationalities And so it's really working with these kids and making them feel comfortable and exploring all the different opportunities they have, including in the trades. And our
Absolutely.
trade partners have been excellent. Whenever we need, the trades to come to do anything, whether it's a job fair, a career day, they're always ready to come and help
great.
and try to get kids interested and show them that there are alternatives.
Yeah.
School's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a big contingency. So our graduating classes, it's changing every year, but we see that, more than half of our students go to college, 2 and 4 year colleges, and a big contingency is now entering the trades where there's huge demand in that field.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're helping them get ready for that. We're exposing them to the different programs, the different opportunities, talking to them about why does math matter? If you're an electrician, you need to know math. If you're a
Absolutely.
plumber, you need to know math and science. Like, it's all the things. So I know Gerry and the team over at MassHire has been great with our students. We've had field trips to different companies just so students can see what exists out there. We had a great job fair, about 600 students
Good.
Oh
attended.
my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
there was
incredible.
about 40 businesses showed up, including some unions,
Excellent.
city, obviously, and private companies. What else have we done?
We did, but as we mentioned, the CEO roundtable,
Yes.
Oh, that was such a
Yep.
good experience. The feedback from that,
and then
That was
we
great.
did a STEM
STEM
a
roundtable.
STEM
Yeah.
roundtable.
Yeah. So all of our engineering classes were involved in,
Great.
similar to CEO roundtable. We had about 150 students go through and meet with different people from different jobs in different companies.
Yeah.
Just to learn what exists in the STEM field. I think the CEO roundtable, that was a big highlight for me as a college and career counselor, because our students, we had students there from all walks of life, and they met with such
yeah.
amazing people.
Phil Sisson, president of Middlesex Community College, and they hosted. So the
Right.
students got to
Yes.
go off campus, which was
Yep.
nice. We had Mayor Dan Rourke, State Representative Vanna Howard, as well as people from different industries. So that was really fun.
And they were so helpful and shared so much to our students that they got so much information out of that. It was really,
And the
really
students were so
amazing.
impressive. Kendrick, shout out to I mean, he went right up to me. He knew my name. He knew what I did, introduced himself. What an impressive young man.
Yeah, we have a great population of students. We're really lucky.
It's great.
A lot of really great students. And and the thing we stress in our part of our job is things like attendance matters.
Yeah.
Being at school, being in attendance, you got to show up on time, you got to dress appropriately, you can't be on the cell phone, you got to disengage from that, be present, exactly. And also try to drive in the fact that you matter, you have confidence in your ability. It devastated me when I had this senior in high school young lady say to me, well, I'm not too bright, so I don't know. It's like, wait a minute, back up. You have a lot of positives, and just giving these kids confidence.
Absolutely. Believing in them.
Believing in themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the big things. And like Dianne mentioned, we've got some great partners. We've been able to do some great field trips.
Yeah.
And take the kids to different places and show them what it's like in the work environment. And we're always looking forward for more companies to offer that
great.
opportunity.
Yeah, we love
And
it.
we have some great board members, as you know, who whenever we're doing a lot of these things, but I want to give a shout out. Tracy Meeks from the community hospital from Tufts. I mean, she anytime we need anybody from that field, Jonathan De Silva from CVS. We took kids into Boston into a CVS pharmacy setting. This was Chelmsford, I believe, or the collegiate, I forget which one. And they get to see the pharmacy technician, how they train for it, what it's like to be back there. Stephanie Cronin from Middlesex Street Coalition. I mentioned Tom in the whole Merrimack Valley Labor Council. Whenever they need some representatives, whenever we need anybody, John Burrows, John Palmieri, just great people who just want to help and are interested in helping the kids.
It's so true. There's so many people in the community that want to help.
And we need the community to help. We need them because now, especially with social media, with cell phones, students are exposed to what's in front of them. So if we can open up that circle while we have them in school, they're in awe of what exists. It's amazing. When we took a group of 30 students to, I think it was Microchip,
Right.
the students were walking around like, oh my goodness. And they were talking to us about, I started as a technician, and then I saw what existed. I decided I wanted to be an engineer. And so I went back to school, and they helped me, and they just learned so much that
They probably thought they were in a movie when they were looking around at everything.
Yeah,
Like,
they
it's
were like,
surreal.
"This is so
Yeah,
cool."
that's amazing. And
yeah.
I like the fact that you're talking about the trades too. Like, so I have 3 young kids, and whenever I talk to them about the future, I talk to them about jobs and all that. But I never say like when you go to college. I'm like, if you decide to go to college, or just changing that narrative so that that kids don't think that there's just one path.
Well, the demand in the trades is really, really high right
Yeah.
now. There's a big lapse of employment, where I think a few years ago I was talking to somebody at Greater Lowell Technical, and they said that the average age of the HVAC technician a few years ago was like 55.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this gap, and we're telling students, like, if that's what you want to do, here's a pathway. And here's what you do, and here's how you get there, and here's how much you're going to be making.
Right.
In 5 years.
Yeah. Like, out of school, you're
Right.
going to be
Yeah.
making good money.
But helping them understand, like, there are exams you have to take. You have to get licensed.
Yeah.
So pay attention in math. Pay attention in science. If they want to go into the military, pay attention, because you're going to have to take the ASVAB. So just all of the career exposure that we can give them, we're just happy to. So having MassHire Workforce Board is great, because I can call them with anything, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll help you. We got that. Hey, I have an intern. Help me. Okay, yep, we'll find one. We'll get you one. So.
And the internship program, explain how the kids at Lowell High participate in the internship program.
So we have a class called internship, and it's second semester of senior year. It's open to seniors only, so they have great professional skills. The first few weeks, I'm actually with them every day for a few hours a day, just making sure, this is how you send an email. This is how you present yourself. This is proper attire. Just giving them those professional skills. A lot of them already know, but just,
reinforcing
really,
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they tell me what they're interested in. And sometimes they have a site lined up, and sometimes they don't. They're not paid internships. They're literally spending 10 hours a week at these sites. And sometimes I have companies that I can just rely on. And sometimes I'm like, help. I need help. I think I talked to you a few years ago about, can I have help? And so it's relying on these companies and these organizations in Lowell to help us out. Because these kids, I just summarized some of the journal entries for all of the people that helped us this year that I'm going to send out next week once our seniors graduate. The feedback that these students get, what they learned. To someone on an everyday basis, they're kind of like, yeah, this is what I do. It's not that important. To a senior in high school, they're like, this is so cool. Or this is boring, but it's part of a job.
Yeah.
It's
And
what I
also,
have
like,
to learn how to do.
it's part of the journey is finding out what you want to do, but another part is finding out what you don't want to do, right? Finding that out young so that you don't end up going to med school and then you throw up when you see blood.
Exactly. Well, we had someone, Gerry got us connected with a few people at City Hall, and we had someone at the wastewater treatment plant. And that was such an amazing experience. He's studying environmental science, and the experience was crazy good for him. And he was doing things that he wasn't expecting to do. He wants to be an environmental engineer. Some days he was acting as a technician.
Yeah.
He was using a rake and cleaning things out. So
that was very eloquently put.
Yep. He said it was, one of those days where he'd have to go into the garage, put everything right in the laundry, and then go shower. And, but he learned so much, because he's like, even as an engineer, I'm going to need to know how all this works. So.
And I want to give a big shout out to Melissa DeRosia and Belle Dominicez up at City Hall. They got us a student, as Dianne said, at wastewater. We had another one in engineering. And the Lowell School Department, we had a student over in the finance office. And,
Can we have them on?
and another student over in MIS, helping to repair the tablets. So
that's great.
And we're going to work this summer with City Hall to try to expand internship opportunities.
I love that.
in as many departments as we can. Because our friends out in Chelmsford, who we're going to have in a couple of weeks, will tell you about their program and their collaboration with the town side.
That's
and
huge.
how they do
Get
some
people thinking about
internships.
municipal opportunities.
Right, exactly.
It's really important. Our student who was in the finance department with the public schools, she was floored at how much goes into public schools and being in the municipalities from a financial perspective that she never knew existed.
Right.
And she was there during budget season.
Well, that's why I said let's have her on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I kept it. I did
That's a
not
whole
ask
other
any
podcast.
questions.
And I don't think I would have anybody joining me on that one.
No, I have to behave now. So
No, so those opportunities have all been great. And just the
wonderful.
more we can expose our students to these things, the better they are. And obviously, as close to Lowell High as possible, which is why it's so great to have City Hall and our own school department involved, just because transportation can be an issue. But, it's not a paid thing. They're getting high school credit for it. So
Yeah.
we're just looking for those opportunities.
and the biggest challenge, and I've only been here since November, but the biggest challenge that we're facing is trying to find jobs for 14, 15, and even 16-year-old
Yeah.
kids, because there's so many. I mean, when I was growing up, at 15 years old,
Oh, yeah, you could
I
find a
was
job
I was
easily.
working the fry later at Kentucky
Yeah,
Fried
yeah,
Chicken
yeah.
on Bridge Street.
Yeah.
You can't do that
No,
anymore.
Right.
And as I talked to some of these small business owners, like a guy at a pizza shop, he said, I used to be able to hire somebody just to work the counter. But now I need somebody who can work the counter, the fry later, cook on the grill. So and there's so many restrictions because of insurance and all that. It's very tough right now. The biggest challenge, I mean, I had 2 kids today, one 15, one 17, and they haven't been able to find a job.
And these are probably kids that really need
They
to,
need jobs.
yeah.
That's the other thing.
Right.
The kids who come to us looking for work are the kids who want a job. I know from talking with other business people, well, you hire a kid, they're always on their phone. If it's a nice hot day, they'll just, go to the beach and not call. Well, that might be some kids. And you may have
some grown-ups
experienced that.
too.
Exactly. But we have kids who come to us who want to work.
Yeah.
And they'll take anything. A kid was ecstatic because he got a job over at Dunkin' Donuts and it was 1 shift a week. But at least he said it's a start.
Yeah, he's making money and he's getting his foot in the door.
And,
It's a great attitude.
Market Basket continues to be one of our best
Oh, yeah.
places for kids to work because
Yeah.
they do hire the 14 and 15-year-old. It amazed me when I was over at the Stosloska school that I was doing these 8th grade classes. And in the first 3 classes I did, there was 1 student in each class who was already working at Market
Oh,
Basket.
wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
At 8th grade, 14,
Yeah.
15 years old.
Great.
But they do a good job hiring neighborhood kids at the one over by the senior center on Broadway. So,
great.
it's great if we had a few more places. One of the people I work with, Nita
Yeah.
Nita
she's
Green and
great.
I spent an afternoon walking through downtown, and we met a lot of nice small businesses, but they don't have openings.
Right.
They're struggling themselves. They're a 1 or 2 man operation. If they're busy, they bring in a family member. So, and the other thing that hurts, and when this was going through several years ago, when Warren and I were on the radio, we were, telling people, you're hurting the kids. There is no training wage.
I know. I was thinking the same
you
thing
have
as what you were
you know,
saying.
as a businessman said to me, Mr. Nutter, no offense, but if I get a 15 or 16-year-old kid and I get a guy like you, your age, who's close to retirement, who just wants to, or is retired and just wants to pick up some hours, I know you're going to show up. I know you're not going to be on your phone. I got to pay you the same thing I'm paying this kid. And that has hurt even McDonald's, who used to hire kids all the
Right.
time. Some of the McDonald's want 18 because, again, they can't have somebody just standing there waiting on you when you walk in anymore. And
That's
and
very true.
it's very tough. And we have so many kids who apply and so many places that we can go, and we have some great partnerships, with some businesses, but we need more. And that's not just here in Lowell. We're in Dracut, we're in Tewksbury, Tingsboro, Chelmsford. We have a lot of good business partners in those communities too. We need more. We need the business people to be willing to, we don't need 40 hours a week for a kid.
Right. Yeah, they can't. They don't
20
have 40
20 hours
to
or 10
dedicate.
hours.
Yeah.
Just to get them started, just to have them have an idea of what it's like to work. And same thing, if they'd be willing to just have somebody come in and do job shadowing for a day, or like Dianne mentioned, the internships, it's 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
And the more businesses we can get to participate, the better it is for the students.
That's the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's our future leaders, our future workforce.
Exactly.
If
Start
somebody
training.
is listening, watching, they're a business and they're like, okay, I want to do something. I'm not sure what it is. Can they just contact you and you can kind of walk them through the
Absolutely.
different
Yeah.
opportunities?
Contact me at MassHire, Gerard.Nutter at Greater Lowell, what is it? GreaterLowellWorkforce.com. Just, gnutter at Comcast.net. That's what I tell everybody. It's easy to remember.
That's where I send it. I'm like, I'm
Yep.
sending it to that.
Then
It's much easier.
I used to announce that one on
Yeah,
the radio.
yeah.
Yeah, we would love businesses to
Yeah.
reach out and work with us. And, anything that we can do to explain to them, help them
Right.
in any way. It's all about getting jobs and getting businesses involved with working with kids.
And we're going into summer, so it's kind of a good time of year to start
Yeah.
planning for next year. And
Exactly.
Some of the programs, you mentioned Parks and Recreation or Recreation Department now, they have a summer program. We must have brought, from MassHire, we must have brought them 40 applications.
that's great.
Just from the kids we deal with at the Voc or Chelmsford or Lowell, and at Stocklosas also, we had kids fill out applications.
Wow.
Because they do hire
Yeah.
14,
Yep.
15-year-olds, and it's great that they're able to do that. But, for every 4 or 5 kids they can hire, there's another 10 who are looking.
Well, and I think the to summarize all that, we have 3,300 students at Lowell High School. And so when you look at all of the high schools that they support and middle schools, it's a lot of students. And a lot of them, it's not just that they're looking for experience, it's they're looking to be able to buy their shampoo, their soap. They are helping provide at home. So the more opportunities we can give them to be able to provide at home, the safer they feel.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But again, I understand when a business says to me, insurance restrictions. I mean, one of the things we do in the workshop with the 8th graders is show them what working papers are, but show them the restrictions that they're facing. You can't do this.
Right.
By law, you can't do this.
Right.
You can't work more than this many hours during the school week. You can't work past this time at night. They have restrictions.
Yeah.
But during the summer, they can. And, even if you need somebody stocking shelves or things like that, kids are willing to do anything.
Yeah.
And like I said, the kids who come to us, as Dianne will tell you, are the kids who want to work. It's not like
They need to work.
mom or dad are calling to say, hey, can you find my kid a job for the summer? No, these are kids who want to, like
Yeah.
Dianne said, in many cases here, what we deal with in Lowell is kids who want to help their families.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what we do. And like I said, there's 4 of us who do it. Nita Green, Colleen Gabriel, who I know Kenneth Moore, myself. We're out at all of the schools: Lowell, Drake, Tewksbury, Tingsboro, Neshoba, Greater Lowell Tech, the charter schools.
I'm like,
you're
going to do this again.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I'm going to miss somebody. You're in so many schools.
We are in the Greater Lowell area, and and we're going to be we're going to start being in middle schools and offering to be in more of the middle schools.
Great.
To work with this MyCap program. As Dianne said, Desi would like the kids to start thinking in 6th, 7th grade. Okay, what comes after 8th grade? When I go to high school, what do I want to look at high school?
Yep.
Do I want to look at colleges? Am I interested in business? Am I interested in pathways? Because you could take a pathway at Lowell High in the coming year or two to be a police officer or get your certification to be a first aid, whether it's with our pals up at Pride Star and Trinity, or working at one of the hospitals. And there's some different programs, Chapter 74 programs, which are vocational programs, that will be coming to the high school in the next couple of years.
Great.
Yeah.
So many opportunities.
It is.
It's good to be a student right
Yes,
now.
Lowell
Right.
High
Yeah.
is-
It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, the opportunities there are
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
So great.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
that's what connecting activities is. And not a lot of people know about it.
No, I know.
I've been in the city and involved in things for a long time. Until I took a job with them, I didn't know what they even existed. And the good work that they do, getting to work with kids and trying to help kids who really, for the most part, need some help and need to know, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
I mean, my 2 boys went into technical. They both went to be electricians. One of them loves it. He's now a manager at a big data storage company. The other one decided after 2 years, you know what? He liked motorcycles instead. And within 3 years, he was a parts and service manager out at the Harley dealership. Now he's working for Toyota in Lexington. So find what you want to do,
Right.
and we'll try to help you find a way to get in there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Connect the students.
Connect them, right?
Yeah.
You know, Kevin Coughlin often says that we are like the handshake. We got you get the business community, you get the students, and
I like that.
we're the connecting activity. We're
Yeah.
the handshake that marries them up and has them work
Yeah.
together.
That's great.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do.
Anything that we're missing? I feel like we covered so much. I mean, I've known about the program. I've been involved to some extent, and I'm inspired right now. So hopefully everybody listening and watching is too.
Would you like an intern?
I will say I have to give a big shout out because when I'm at Lowell High School, you know, the student support office, that's where we work out of. And Damarie, Tatiana, Liz, and Ashley, to see them interact with the kids all the time. We give them, I email them a list in the morning. These are the kids who are scheduled. And they call them, they remind them, they come down, they work with the kids. And they've been very, very huge supporters and helpers of us when we do things at the high school.
Those are our parent liaisons who, so
Awesome.
they know the families, they
Yeah,
know the students, they know
great.
what the students need. They're just great. But yeah,
And
we're doing a lot of good things, I think, as a partnership with really trying to push through and expose our students to as much as
Yeah.
possible and get them career ready when they graduate from high school. And whether that career means they're going to college or whether it means they're going right to a job or to a trade, we're getting them ready. So,
Excellent.
and that's what's important.
Yeah, that's the most important
Yeah.
thing, and that's why I encourage businesses to reach out to us. We're easy to find, and we'd be glad to spend some time with you.
Yeah.
And if you're in Tewksbury, you're going to meet me. I'm going to be doing a lot of work in Tewksbury because we'll be working.
Watch out,
Tewksbury.
Tewksbury.
Here we
We're
go.
working with Tewksbury High School
Great.
next year. We've already
I'm
planned
so happy to hear
things out
that.
there.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for all that you do.
Thank you.
It's
for
much
having me.
Well,
appreciated.
thank you for having us in and giving us
Yeah.
a chance to promote it and talk about
Yeah,
it.
we're going to
We appreciate
continue to
that.
do that, and we'll definitely have you back on. Jerry's going to be a regular now, but we'll have you come back on too, maybe the end of the summer, beginning of the school
Perfect.
year, and really engage those businesses.
Yeah, that
And
would
we'll be back in a couple of weeks with
Yes.
Nita Green, who works with us, and Alex Marsh, who is Diane's equivalent out at Chelmsford High School.
Chelmsford High School.
Oh, great.
And she's, she's wonderful. She'll tell you about all the different programs they do, and her and Nita do a lot of other things too.
Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And thank all of you for tuning in, whether you're watching or listening. We appreciate it, and we will be back again soon.